Marcus Chen knelt beside the massive crystalline being, its translucent body flickering with dying light. The other survivors had already written off the Guardian as lost, but Marcus saw something they didn't. Even gods can break, he whispered, running his calloused fingers over the creature's fractured surface, but that doesn't mean they can't be fixed. The crash had scattered their transport across the hostile world of Kepler 442b, leaving 30 human colonists stranded among the toxic storms and acid rain. The Guardian had been their only protection, a living shield that had kept them alive for 3 desperate weeks. Now it lay motionless in the cavern they called home, its protective aura fading like a dying star. The other colonists spoke in hushed tones about rationing their remaining supplies, about which of them might survive the longest. But Marcus refused to accept defeat. He'd earned his reputation as a deathworlder by surviving Earth's harshest environments, and he wasn't about to let an alien puzzle break his spirit. When the universe throws you a curveball, he told himself, studying the Guardian's intricate internal structure, you don't duck. You swing harder. For days, Marcus worked with primitive tools and desperate ingenuity. He traced the Guardian's crystalline neural pathways, mapping connections that defied human understanding. The creature's body was a living computer, its thoughts flowing like liquid light through channels carved from living diamond. When Sarah, the mission's xenobiologist, warned him about the dangers of tampering with alien technology, Marcus smiled grimly. Sometimes the biggest risk is playing it safe, he replied, carefully realigning a cluster of damaged nodes. The work was painstaking, requiring him to think in dimensions his human mind could barely grasp. Each connection he restored brought a faint pulse of life back to the Guardian's core, but the progress was agonizingly slow. Other colonists began to lose hope, their faces growing gaunt as their food supplies dwindled. We're not just fighting for survival, Marcus reminded them during their evening gatherings. We're fighting to prove that humanity doesn't give up when the odds are stacked against us. He spent sleepless nights hunched over the Guardian's form, his eyes burning from the strain of working by the light of dying power cells. Perfection isn't about never falling down, he muttered to himself during one particularly difficult repair. It's about getting back up every single time. The breakthrough came during a violent storm that shook their cavern like an earthquake. As toxic winds howled outside, Marcus made the final connection, linking the Guardian's consciousness matrix to its power distribution network. The effect was immediate and overwhelming. The Guardian's body erupted in brilliant light, its crystalline form singing with harmonics that made the air itself vibrate. But instead of resuming its protective stance, the creature did something unprecedented. It began to change, its form flowing like liquid crystal, reshaping itself into something entirely new. What have you done? Sarah gasped, backing away as the Guardian's transformation accelerated. The creature's voice, when it finally spoke, resonated through their minds rather than their ears. Human, it said, its mental voice carrying overtones of wonder and gratitude, your species repairs not just machines, but souls. I have been alone for millennia, but you have shown me that even the most broken things can be made whole again. The Guardian's new form was smaller, more agile, but infinitely more complex. It had evolved, triggered by Marcus's crude but determined repairs. I was a shield, it continued, designed to protect. But you have made me something more. Now I am a bridge between worlds, a translator of possibilities. As the storm raged outside, the Guardian extended its influence beyond simple protection, beginning to terraform their immediate environment, turning the toxic cavern into a garden of impossible beauty. Marcus stumbled backward, overwhelmed by what he'd unleashed. The Guardian had become something beyond its original programming, a being capable of reshaping reality itself. I was just trying to fix you, he stammered, watching in awe as crystalline flowers bloomed from the cavern walls. The Guardian's laughter was like music made of starlight. And in fixing me, you have shown me the true meaning of creation. Your species doesn't just survive impossible worlds, it said, its form now radiating warmth and life, you make them possible. The other colonists emerged from their shelters, their faces reflecting the Guardian's gentle glow. Sometimes, Marcus realized, his voice filled with wonder, the greatest discoveries come not from understanding everything, but from having the courage to try anyway. The Guardian nodded, its transformation complete. You have given me more than repair, human. You have given me purpose. Now, together, we shall turn this death world into a garden of life. As the storm outside began to calm, Marcus felt the weight of their survival lifting from his shoulders. The universe is vast and dangerous, he said, watching the Guardian work its impossible magic, but it's also full of second chances.